Hello everyone, my name is Deli, and today we're going to be discussing what the 3 C's of game development stand for. You may have heard it before, you may have not heard it before, but today it stands for character, controls, and camera. This can be applied to many genres as well, and it continues to be applied throughout any or all video games. 3 C's are responsible for your initial experience, how you feel when you control the game, how you interact with the basic core mechanics of the game, and really, whether or not those first few minutes or hours are fun or not. They also govern how the player interacts with menus, the world, and all of the feedback they receive playing the game. The reason why we describe these things as one unit is because it's less about any one of those pillars, but how all of them affect each other in the long run with their relationship to the player. A good camera doesn't need to be adjusted at every moment. It adjusts to your gameplay experience depending on if you're in a car, on foot, rowing a boat, or in a fist fight. If you hop onto a horse, the camera should follow you right on up and sit at the right height in order for you to understand that you're in a different state of maneuverability. When we talk about character, we are talking about whatever form the player is controlling at that time. A good character is responsive and feels grounded. You're engaged at every moment and you feel as if the character is actually moving through the environment. If you're crawling on the floor, do your clothes get dirty? If you wade through some water, is everything under your calves wet? When we discuss controls, we're also talking about accessibility for all of the players. Do the buttons make sense? Are the players able to reach a state of flow? Are they wrestling and fighting the controls while they're in a menu or in a combat section? Did they die because they pressed the wrong button, or is that button that they needed too far away from where their thumb is at currently? These are all the things that us developers have to think about when we're drafting the feel of a video game. If you're unable to satisfy the need to navigate your environment properly, how can you move on to understand and enjoy a potentially awesome crafting system? The 3 C's should always be looked at as the bedrock of any game that can be constructed. Next time you play a third-person game, take a look at the size of the doors, for example. They're pretty tall, aren't they? You know why? So that the camera can go through them without being forced to zoom in or clip through the mesh. How good of a job has the designers and developers done with the 3 C's? It's one of the most important core elements of game design. Mess up your 3 C's and I can promise you'll have a very clunky and frustrating game. When we build assets for games, we cannot make them any size or any shape that we want. There are metrics that govern and shape everything we create. Those metrics are determined by the 3 C's and the systems in place for how we interact with the world. Take for example, in The Division, crouching covered objects have to be between 0.9 meters and 1.2 meters tall and can't have holes in them at all, which is why if you look, they're all just cubes or right angles. This was to make sure that the mesh never blocks bullets that you fire and you can't be shot in cover. Artistically, it's limiting to work that way, but the 3 C's in the game metrics come first always. Artists had to work around those requirements to find creative ways to realize assets in a fun way without just making everything a box. In game development, we have to design the rules of the world we create and stick to them. Deviation from those rules can and will break immersion. I will disclaim though that sometimes breaking conventions works and causes unique moments in video games within the experience, but you have to be very careful to maintain the fun and integrity of the game. Secondly, real-world scale is not good for game design or even game art most of the time. There are so many things in games we scale up to be much larger than reality. Cables are a big one. Move too far away and they become aliased jagged cobwebs, which takes away from the graphical fidelity of the game. If you thicken them up, they'll look good from further away and just be a little bit chunky up close. It does not bother the player because most players don't have an accurate understanding of what cables would look like normally, so if they're larger than normal, it won't be immersion breaking. Another example is a game like DayZ. I've watched a ton of people play this game, and have you ever noticed that the doors and rooms feel really cramped in that game? They're probably accurately scaled to the real world, and when you go into these rooms, you notice how much the camera gets forced to zoom in. It's really annoying to play in motion, and it's really annoying to watch when the back of your character's head is inches from your screen. The next time you guys play a game, take note on how well the 3 C's interact with each other and think about what could be improved. Come join the conversation down below and keep it going in the comments. Let me know a few games that you guys think highly of or a few games that struggled to be engaged with. I'd love to interact with you guys, and with that being said, thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you guys learned something today. That's all I have for y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.